Unscripted is where we dive into the stories and insights of creative minds from across the globe. Today, we have the pleasure of introducing Rakasree Basu, an award-winning producer and international co-production consultant. Known for breaking new ground with her Danish-Indian co-production, Iqbal and the Jewel of India, the first collaboration between India and a Nordic country, Rakasree has been at the forefront of global storytelling. She's the founder of Frames Per Second Films and has worked with world-renowned directors on projects like The Most Beautiful Hands of Delhi and the BBC series Get Away for Winter. Rakasree also played a key role as an advisor to India's Film Facilitation Office, shaping the film visa guidelines that have made India a major destination for international productions.
Rakasree, thank you so much for being with us. Welcome to our podcast. I'm really excited about this conversation. I got the spoiler that you're talking to us from Glasgow. Therefore, can you tell us a little bit more about yourself? Who are you? How you spend your day-to-day, professionally speaking? And yes, let's take it from there. Navigate us a little bit through your life journey.
Yeah, interesting. You said navigate through the life journey, which has been quite much, to be honest. I'm a producer. I work across film, television, documentaries. I've been having my company in India since 2016. I've pioneered in converging the Nordic region and the Indian cinematic landscapes, which many deemed impossible, but it kind of started from there. And I've co-produced feature films and TV series with Sweden, Denmark, the Nordic region, that is. And then a couple of years back, I think in 2021, I decided to take a detour from my work, also because there was COVID, not to forget that. So just took that opportunity and moved to Scotland to pursue my master's degree in creative industries and cultural policy at the University of Glasgow, funded by a generous, fully funded scholarship by British Council India. That's what brought me to Scotland. And after I finished my course in here, this place quickly became my home, and I decided to stay back. And while I was integrating myself with the society at large here, I figured that there was an opportunity for inclusive storytelling in Scotland, which at this point is almost non-existent. That's what kind of gave me a thought to start Momentum Films. Momentum Films is relatively a new company here. It's an independent Scottish film and TV company, but the idea behind Momentum is to give momentum to the stories that are unexplored to date. That's all about me.
I think, if you walk in New York and you walk in any of this multi-cosmopolitan cities, I would, there's an average of a job, right? Like people you say, oh, there's traders and so it's not often that the word I'm a producer comes along as a way of describing oneself as what he's professionally doing. What was your journey in life that led you to want to be a producer and become one?
Interesting you asked that, because I'm born and so to put this into a context, I am born and raised in India, in a city called Calcutta, which is on the east coast of the country. So I'm born and raised there. I did my undergrad studies there. And then I moved to Mumbai, which is on the west coast of India. And that's also a city that's known for being the home of Bollywood. We all know Bollywood at large everywhere. So I moved there. I think when I was 21, and everything kind of started from there. The career or whatever I thought I wanted to be kind of started from there, because Mumbai is an expensive city. You got to work, you got to pay the bills, as as practical as life can be. Mumbai hits you hard if you don't know what you're doing and how to navigate things. So when I went to Mumbai, I was working as an assistant director. So coming from a family that's not into the film and TV business, like my parents or relatives or friends, no one in my vicinity or close contacts are part of this industry. I'm the first one to join this sector. So I didn't really know what I wanted to do, to be honest. And I was working as an assistant director, so like assisting the directors, and I worked across film, TV, commercials, everything. And I only wanted to become a director because, when you don't know how the industry operates, and you get a job and then you think, oh, that's what you're supposed to do. Uh, but then, I think around 2015, there was a seismic shift, and a Swedish producer um, was scouting India to shoot a TV series. He discovered me, and he thought that I would be better off as a producer. So he literally found me, trained me to become a producer. I had no understanding of what a producer does, what is production in general. I mean, when you are in directing, you see the production team working, so you know kind of what they do. But I didn't really think that that was a possibility for me to do it in any way. But the Swedish producer, when he came to scout for the project in India, uh, I was practically his discovery into getting into producing roles. So it started from there. So to kind of round up this story, I became a producer as an accident, not because I wanted to be, not because I was trained to be. It was completely accidental.
Very interesting because maybe you have a call. If you responded to that what you call accident, it means that it was always in you, but you needed like a call for it. So
Yeah, that
tell
was
us
my call.
like yeah. So tell us like what is the day to day of a producer? How exactly you organize? Like I understand, it depends based on like if you're running a movie or if you have something. But for a normal agenda for a producer, how is that day to day look like?
I mean, the days of a producer is intense. In particular, for me, is more intense because I run two companies across two countries, two continents, two time zones, uh, to different cultures. Everything is at contrast in there. So my days are way more intense of having to run and manage two companies, in one in India and one here in Scotland. Uh, but both my companies do different things. My Indian company works as a service production company. Service production essentially means that when there is a film or TV or documentary, whatever, is going from a different country into India, that's where the production service company basically helps in securing the permissions, taking care of the crew, putting the crew together, basically, the entire logistical permissions, artistic, all the work is done by the production service company. So My company in India, which is Frames Per Second Films, works as a production service company. And Momentum Films, which is in Scotland, that is a production company where we develop original IPs and we put together projects, we mount projects, we develop projects. And these are across scripted, which is film, television, and unscripted, as in documentaries. So that's how these two companies kind of operate.
I think very interesting what you were saying about working in two different time zones, different locations, right? At the end of the spectrum, the career economy, it's something like it's happening at a global level, and the world of the entertainment is it's having a shift and it's changing. How you, are you feeling any of these changes in your day in your career? Um, how do you sense that the entertainment industry is either shifting or it's forced to shift and take a change?
Well, entertainment industry across like worldwide is changing, and there is a massive shift in how it's operating. Like as we speak, across like worldwide, across countries. Um, Obviously, we are going through a certain crisis period uh, because of the lack of projects being greenlit by studios or national broadcasters, which then basically snowballs into having less jobs, having less manpower into the industry, and so on and so forth. But having said that, there is also an intent to push through this and break the barriers in order to get into something which is positive and productive. Uh, so it's always a constant push now to get things happening, get things rolling, uh, which is something that is the need of the hour now, because otherwise it comes to a standstill. So although there is a crisis period looming over practically every industry across every continent. There is that push that is required, and well, I see that happening.
Do you think like the adaptation to new technologies and everything, it's happening fast in one particular region or the other, and like embracing these new methods, by instance?
Yeah, yes, absolutely. Like if adapting to new technologies like AI, XR, VR, if you're talking about the new technologies that are engulfing the industry at large, some of the territories are soaking it in more quickly rather than the others. I mean, I know for certain that the UK, Europe is adapting to newer technologies more quickly than, say, India, where the other company of mine is. But having said that, uh, this change is quite quick. So something that's happening here now is and will in less time travel to India as well. So that's what's happening
Right.
here.
So, from your perspective, how do you think the world of entertainment is going to look like 10 years from now?
Pretty positive. I'm pretty positive about how it would look, because we in every industry practically we always have ups and downs. There is a peak, and then there is a period when things go down. There's an uphill downhill situation practically across every century, every industry. Um, in the years to come, I think with the advent of newer technologies, and if the users, which is us, can use it to the benefit and uh, and navigate those changes in such a way that it helps in putting through uh, stories that are unexplored, or having people to come into the workforce, if it benefits of gaining more workforce and not, moving away from that, uh, because, you can use technology in different ways. For us, the productive use of technology is uh, also retaining the human capital, but at the same time, making sure that the newer technologies that's developing helps the human capital in order to work efficiently.
It's very interesting you're saying this because we're seeing like a lot of shifts, and a lot of, but still, like, it feels hard to kind of sometimes visualize how the entertainment industry is going to be 10 years from now, five, shortening. But it's not that difficult to envision one's future. So now I'm going to get into more personal level. How you see yourself in 10 years?
Well, I see myself in 10 years embracing the newer technology that we will have and building on that, doing more productions, like, yes, when we're talking about shift in technologies and emerging technologies, um, it's very easy to, get carried away. But I think it all boils down to intent. What's the person's or what's the user's intent in using these technologies for the betterment of the society at large? And in this case, I'm talking about the global society at large and also the entertainment industry. So I see myself in the next 10 years as someone who champions uh, emerging talents, who brings together or bridges the newer advances that we are making in terms of technology and the talent that we have, the human talents that we have. I see myself bridging them.
And now that, like, you picture yourself that way, is that like something that it needs to change for you to fit in that landscape in the current media industry?
Uh, no, I don't think. I mean, see, change is constant. We are always changing. And if we don't change, then we don't learn, we don't adapt. Uh, so, yes, there is a change. But I personally feel that the change is with the intent of doing good for the better.
That's very well said. So, Rakasree, as we are like um, getting through our like end of the conversation here, keeping it short, um, I would really like for you to like address to the audience and have something for them regarding their careers, like thinking of those that are trying to become producers or are thinking into getting themselves in the filming industry or entertainment industry. What is the advice that you've throughout your career and has helped you navigate the ups and downs that you want to pass on?
I would like to pass on being focused at what you're doing, being resilient, uh, because if there is no resilience, then it means nothing, uh, to be honest. And to keep your mind open to possibilities, to opportunities, and anything that's new, you ought to adapt to it, but you also need to um, be focused about what you're doing, how you're doing, and be disciplined as well. I think there are a lot of things, but I think it boils down to being totally focused, because if you're totally focused, then all the rest of the things kind of like work in your favor.
Yes, absolutely. That's very well said. Do you think that are there any skill sets that they should be looking more after than others in this industry?
I mean, within the entertainment industry, all skill sets are transferable, So I won't say that any specific skill sets needs to be taken care of, but I mean, when we are working for developing projects and executing projects as well, um, I think the only thing that we as producers, I can speak for myself. I mean, people would have different requirements, but I really love to work with people uh, who are quick learners, who can adapt. So the skill set that probably needs to be right out there is how quick you can adapt to things. So if that's something that you have inculcated within yourself, that's going to go a long way.
Perfect. Yes, I think I like the fact that you use the expression skills are transferable, because it is like a teamwork, and people have to bring the best and not necessarily like one have to cover it all. So it's a good way of describing it. Um, as a wrap up, Rakasree, tell me, what are the movies that have influenced you the most, and you would have loved to have been a producer to those?
Well, the movies that have influenced me the most are very much Bengali movies that I have grown
Go
up
ahead.
watching. You know.
Yes, please
So,
list them up
so
for us.
uh, well, a lot of films that the filmmaker Satyajit Ray uh, directed and made. A lot of films that eminent filmmaker Ritik Ghatak made. Uh, I wouldn't say that I would have loved to produce them because they were made at a time when probably I wasn't born. But those films have made me think about uh, making films like that resonate with the audiences worldwide, because thematically they are very universal. So when I was growing up and saw films of Satyajit Ray or Ritik Ghatak, I think that stayed with me and that still is with me. So those are the films that has influenced my creative space. And if I'd ever want to produce a movie, this would be very controversial because although I am greatly influenced by Ray and Ghatak, and they make different kind of movies. They're making movies that are centric to life and human emotions and conflicts. But having said that, I would love to produce an action film, probably 007 or Mission Impossible.
I see. So, uh, now like the question would be more shifted towards what are like the movies that have like that you really love that have came out in the past 10 years, and you know, let's step away from the ones that are obviously well marketed, but some that like you sort of found that it was great work, like, and they could totally be listed on your favorite list of movies. I mean, I think like if I have to summarize the question, is like Rakasree was like, what are your favorite movies that you've enjoyed in the last 10 years? But going more deeper, even better if they're hard to find.
Well, in the last 10 years, well, I don't think they would be hard to find because they'd probably be on Amazon or Netflix or movie, somewhere. But where my choice of movies are like across genres, like, and it can be action, it can be drama, it can be anything. But in the last couple of years, best of the films that I have seen and I find very intriguing. Um, I mean, just recently, I think 2 weeks back, I saw Kneecap, which I loved to bits. Um, so that is one that's pretty recent. But other than that, there would be, in terms of drama, I've really loved seeing La La Land. Uh, that's a movie that I can think of the top of my head when it comes to romantic films. Um, Action films wise, I'm very much, like I said, want to produce action films like 007 or Mission Impossible. They're also top of my list in terms of action films that I love to bits. Uh, and other than that, in terms of projects that I have seen in the last couple of years, um, a lot of them are Indian films, to be honest. And well, because I come from India, and my work mostly is in India, so I watch a lot of Indian projects. Um, I think I list some of those. Uh, there, there've been plenty. Like I've watched so many films that by now all the names are like everywhere in my brains. But I can definitely list down some of it.
Absolutely. Thing is, I think when it comes to recommendations, is one of the most precious thing one can get from a conversation to take home, right? Among other things related, but definitely, it also gives a sense of like one's preference and everything related to it. Uh,
My
Rakashree,
preferences are all over.
yes,
Like
all.
it's just like
I mean, I believe that as a producer, right, you need to have it all over so you can like conceptualize a message or frame it in different styles, like through different uh, uh, ways of articulating. And as you said, like you went through categorizing them by drama or action or international. Um, so, nonetheless, I don't think none of those kind of like can define the richness that you sits in you. I'm really looking forward to your work. I'm really looking forward for future people that will interview them to mention your movies as their preferable ones. So I'm really looking forward to that, I would say. And in the meantime, I am very sure that we'll stay in touch, and I will follow your work really closely. As at Olyn, we're really passionate about producers, filmmakers that are trying to bring extremely good work to the audience, and we're just here to help them reach that. And in my total understanding, I think this is to be continued. And for like the very short time we've had in within this discussion, my takeaways are that it is an interesting profile when you have to navigate two different cultures yet bringing them together, and I think that's a symbiotic that defines the world coming closer. So that's why maybe it's not so separated, but they need a union. I think like entertainment is a way of bringing us closer. When I watched the Bollywood movie, like I felt like I almost traveled there. So it's the beauty
I
of
like
it.
what you said, symbiotic relationship. Yes, yeah.
So please give us a lot of that. And as I said, very much looking forward to seeing your work. And can you tell us anything, or it's too secret to share with us, that's upcoming, fresh, that you're working on, that you're excited, that, or you've closed on and you invite us to see?
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm doing a lot of projects at this moment, and that's across feature films and TV shows and documentaries. There's one particular documentary I'm very interested uh, that you know the audience gets to see it uh, quickly, quicker than later. Um, and that's a documentary that we are filming in India. And it's a first sort of collaboration between Scotland and India. So I'm really excited for that to take shape quickly. And once it's out, then it's obviously for people to see.
we'll follow you. We'll like share details on where you are to be followed. Thank you so much for this conversation. Nice meeting you.
Thank you, Anna. Speak soon.
Bye bye.
Bye.